And welcome back to the Cover 3 podcast here on CBS Sports. That's Tom Fornelli. That's Danny Cannell. That's Bud Elliott. I'm Chip Patterson coming to you live at youtube.com/cover3 and everywhere you get your podcast on demand. Thanks for hanging out. Smash that subscribe, smash that like, and come and join us in the chat, a.k.a. the Cover 3 tailgate, where Dogwood Maple is asking, bigger number, Ole Miss players listed on their injury report or the combined locks between Chip and Danny? DK, I've got 19 potentials. We'll see how many potentials. I usually leave a lot of those holstered. So
I just counted out 18 potentials.
Yes,
but you know what else I do is sometimes there's some vibey plays as well. You know, if Tom or Bud says something I like, then I jump on that one. So I might have to whittle some down today.
Or
spray them.
All right. Spray is the way. All right. We begin with, as we always do, with a look back at the week that was week 10. Bud, it was a 3-6 week. The wins were that under 46 in Penn State, Ohio State, cash in Washington +2.5. They got it done on the field against USC, and Iowa -3, just putting it on Wisconsin. The losses, San Diego State team total under 17.5. The Texas A&M South Carolina first half under 22.5. Auburn -6.5. The Coastal Troy under 53.5, and Michigan State +8. 3-6 for the week has you at 43 and 57 for the season. What are we taking away from week 10?
So San Diego State was just bad, obviously. A&M, South Carolina, very bad. South Carolina jumped them. Auburn was a bad one. I would bet Coastal Troy under again every time, just watching how that played out. I would bet UGA again for sure, just looking at the success rate there. And I would not bet Michigan State again. They did not they could not hang with Indiana. So not a good week, especially on the ATS stuff.
You would not bet Auburn again?
No, not after watching that.
Okay. You learned your lesson about the comic. I mean, you stepped in the way of Barton, and that kind of what happens. All right. Look, I can't talk too much. All right. It was a rough week for your boy as well. 5-10 for week 10. The wins were that lock fight win, cash and Vandy +7. They got it done on the field. Also, Oregon first half -7.5. The Wisconsin, Iowa over 40.5. Thank you, Hawkeyes. Indiana fourth quarter -1.5. It's what they do. Mississippi State first half team total over 20.5. Don't know if anyone else followed this one, but by the skin of our teeth. Okay, that was not a dance to be able to get that one home, but it did come home. The losses, there were many. San Diego State, Boise, under 57.5. The Penn State, Ohio State, first half, under 23.5. UConn, -7.5. The Ole Miss, Arkansas, under 54. Georgia, -16. Pitt, +7.5. And Tennessee, -16.5. Clemson, -10. The USC, Washington, over 55.5. And the Minnesota, Illinois, over 45. While some of those almost came home based on like one more score, especially on the totals, like one more score here, one more score there, that the only one that really was a kick to the groin would be that Penn State, Ohio State first half under, when you've got a pick 6 in like the opening couple possessions and then it finishes at 24 for the first half. So, you know what? Losses are losses. I got to wear it. 5-10 for the week, 62 and 61 for the season. Danny, it was a 4-9 week. The wins included SMU -7. Congrats on your lock fight win against me. Ooh, God, Kentucky +17. Congrats on your lock fight win against me. Miami -20.5. UCLA +6.5. The losses, Penn State +3.5. The Penn State, Ohio State first half under 23.5. Michigan +14.5. Texas A&M -2.5. Arkansas +7. The Ole Miss, Arkansas under 54. Michigan State first half +4.5. The Kentucky, Tennessee under 45.5. And Clemson first half -6.5. 4-9 for the week has you at 47 and 62 for the season. What are our takeaways?
I would do the same exact play with Penn State and both the game against the spread in the first half. The pick 6 killed us in that one. Michigan, I would take that one again. That was the close late cover from Oregon. I thought I had a chance to win that one. The South Carolina A&M one was one I got kind of stubborn. I was so bullish on A&M Didn't love the line. It was stinky. Should have had me staying away from it, but I didn't. Arkansas Ole Miss, did not see that game happening at all. That one I would take back if I could. So yeah, and the Michigan State first half, thought I had it when they were up 10-0, started celebrating early, and then quickly got Hoosiered in that one. But keep firing.
Is Danny daunted or undaunted?
Undaunted.
Undaunted.
Okay. If you're betting against, aren't you
daunted.
daunted?
Well, I mean, I would say that his position moving forward, daunted.
I am undaunted.
Undaunted. Got
Yes.
it. All right, Tom. 7-4. Let's go. The wins included Air Force Army under 42.5, SMU team total over 33.5, Oregon first half -7.5, Washington +2.5, UCLA Nebraska over 39.5, Wisconsin Iowa over 40.5, Baylor team total over 34.5. The very few losses: Penn State +3.5, Army first half -12.5. Illinois +3, and the Kentucky-Tennessee under 45.5. 7-4 for the week has you at 50-60 for the season. What are we taking away from week number 10?
Nothing too lessony here. I wouldn't have taken Army first half if I'd known for sure that Daly was going to be out. So not really upset about that. That just happens. And I would take Illinois again. And because if you look at the numbers afterwards, like the success rate and all that kind of stuff, Illinois played the better game. There was just one guy I needed to play better than he did, and he didn't play well enough. So no real lessons learned.
I mean, story of my life. Let's look back at the week that was and forget it. No lessons learned. All right, let's get it out of here because it is time to look ahead to week 11. And I ask you, gentlemen, you ready to lock it up?
Let's do it.
Since 2005, the under in games between service academies is 40-9-1.
We're picking locks.
Give me an over in this one as well. A little 2-for-1 special.
Don't get these locks.
I was a sicko last week. Y'all were watching the good games. I was live betting the hell out of ULM Kentucky.
My blue plate special 5-star locks are coming.
5-star master lock. Lock it up. You want these locks.
I'm living and dying every point, every cover.
From the locking chair to your eyes and ears, let's get it started as we always do with those weeknight locks. Thursday night action. We got App State at Coastal Carolina. We got FAU at ECU. Anybody got a locks for Thursday night in the Carolinas?
My Twitter is ECU -7, but that is moving to 7.5, 8, and even 8.5 some places. So I would stay away from it now.
I'm gonna go back to this underwell with Coastal. I'm bet under 62.5.
I just can't. I'm so firm in this position. It's got to hit. Okay, elaborate for those who maybe weren't around last week.
Just don't think that like some of the scores from Coastal were necessarily repeatable. Like a little bit of flukishness there. And although App's defense is certainly not good, I do think Coastal's defense is okay. So I like under again.
Full game under. I'm sorry, I was answering a text.
Yeah, 62.5.
All
right. Anything else for Thursday? Nope. Okay. Friday night, we got Cal at Wake Forest, Iowa at UCLA, and Rice at Memphis, and New Mexico at San Diego State. Kind of a nice little Friday set of action. Anybody got a lock?
I got one.
Me too. Where you want to go? I'm going to go to the Rose Bowl, where UCLA is playing host to Iowa, and I have to look at some. I've been on Iowa overs a lot this season. The Tim Lester experience. I think that UCLA defensively has done a really good job against most of its competition at holding them below the output, the production that those teams do against everybody else, to the point where we've just got to look at UCLA and the way that they've been competing. So a group that might have this Iowa offense having a couple games, and they have had a couple games where it hasn't been that kind of 40-point outburst. I think UCLA could maybe sneaky, be a little dangerous, but I don't want to touch the spread on this ultimately, especially where it's sitting right now. But I do think that Iowa's defense is is going to play to its standard. I don't think they're intimidated by the Bruins offensively. I'm going to go with the Iowa UCLA under 45.
45 and a half.
Yeah.
I can get you.
45 and a half.
works.
All right, let's do it.
Fight.
Oh, bar fight. Let's go.
Fight.
Go ahead, bud.
All right, so you're with me, right?
I'm with you.
All right, bar fight.
I don't see UCLA scoring a whole lot here on a pretty disciplined Iowa defense, and UCLA's defense continues to play decently well. Neither team wants to run any kind of tempo, so I would expect Iowa to play a very controlled game here. I kind of like Iowa's side too, but I like the under better.
I'm on the over 44 and a half. Iowa's going to score 41 points on its own. It's a juggernaut offense. You guys got to wake up and realize it.
When Chip popped in here and he said he was on it, I kind of liked it. And then I looked at our records together and we're 3-5. But then when Bud hopped in, I realized, and I was like scared of it. But then when Bud got in here, me and Bud, when we go in agreement, we're 4-4, which the way the year is gone, I'll take that any day. I consider that a winner. So line me up with Chip and Bud. Let's go.
It's a bar brawl.
It's a bar brawl.
It's a traitor. I'm fighting a unity.
All right. So this is a traitor fight? How do we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I am the traitor.
Trailer park fight.
Trailer.
All right. Let's go. We're not even to Saturday. We haven't even talked about Sunbelt Billy yet. We're going. The blood is pumping.
We're just going.
All right. Anything else for Friday?
I
I
have one more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another total on Friday night. Give me the under 66 and a half in New Mexico, San Diego State. I know it's a ride betting an under in any game involving New Mexico. I just don't like San Diego State's offense that much.
That's so many points.
I bet that under last week, and it
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think the logic still holds though.
Yeah. I mean, New Mexico can fix any offense. I'll give them that, but I'm not super into it.
All right. Let's see. Anything else for Friday?
Negative.
All right. Coming up on the other side, we will turn our attention to Saturday.
Oh, wait. No. Yes. I'm sorry. I have one.
All right.
Apologies. I got my rotation numbers wrong. Our friends at FanDuel are offering Wake Forest plus 7.5, and I like Wake Forest plus 7.5. Lock it up. I don't think that I just don't think these teams are all that different. Like Cal's better than Wake. I get it. But are they truly that different? I don't know. I could see Cal's offense laying an egg here.
You know me, I love a no one should be favored in this game type play. And
you thought about it too?
Yeah, of course. Because both these teams need this one for a bowl. Now, that's another angle that I've taken to a lot of these games is just sort of like the general postseason motivations. Justin Wilcox, Dave Clawson, both very much in that position of whether you go to a bowl or not is the type of stuff your fan base keeps track of. It doesn't matter whether it's the Gasparilla Bowl or the Gator Bowl, but like just being in the postseason is a mark of whether it was a thumbs up or thumbs down season. This is the kind of game that could end up deciding that. So don't hate that at all. All right. Coming up on the other side, we will turn our attention to Saturday's games, including a special look at Texas hosting Florida. Now that we've got a little bit of breaking news regarding the future of Billy Napier, all that and more next. And now it's time for the player to watch, brought to you by Microsoft Copilot Plus PCs, powered by Snapdragon. In this segment, we'll identify a player that exemplifies the speed, intelligence, or battery found in every Copilot Plus PC And this week, we are turning our attention to Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart as he goes up against that Georgia defense, obviously coming off a huge game, 515 yards passing, 6 passing touchdowns, but it might be his mobility. Bud, we talked about it earlier in the week in Big Game Breakdown. What does Jackson Dart need to do up against that Georgia defense?
Chip, it'll be interesting because they're listing like every single person on the team as questionable or doubtful. If you saw, they had like 20-something guys on the injury report. I think Dart's going to have to use his legs a lot in this game, probably a whole lot, because like, what if Harris or Watkins don't play? What if both don't play? Then that would be really difficult against Georgia. But he's going to have to play like the guy he is, which is the SEC's leading passer, and he's going to have a huge game, I think, because Ole Miss run game has just been MIA the entire year.
Yeah, that Georgia-Ole Miss game, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Jackson Dart, the Ole Miss quarterback, is our player to watch. And that was the player to watch segment brought to you by Microsoft Copilot Plus PCs. Whether you're multitasking like never before, working far from power outlets, or sketching your own ideas into existence, you can do it with the Microsoft Copilot Plus PCs. All right, let's start on Saturday with that Florida-Texas matchup. And before we get into whether there's any actual locks or leans here, the news had been sort of rumored through the morning, and I believe we now have an official statement from Scott Strickland that Florida had. Let's see, what's the wording on this?
I can read it if you'd like.
I wanted to let you know that Billy Napier will continue to be the head coach of the Florida Gators. There's no guarantee about like for how long, right? It's vague.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I think we'll continue as head football coach of the Florida Gators is kind of
through the week.
So you're saying that this is just like leave me alone for a couple weeks and then I'll decide, or are you saying that you're not sure?
I think that this is purposely vague. I think that if you're Scott Strickland, the Florida athletic director, you want to not lock yourself in with your own words. That if you're going to make an official statement released on the official accounts with the blue background and the letterhead and everything else, you don't want to back yourself into a corner for anything. I do think that this is a vote of confidence that should not be ignored. I think that it means that we are like 95 to 98% trending towards Billy Napier being the head coach of the Florida Gators for week 1 of the 2025 season.
I think he's back next year 100%, unless there's something that happens off the field. I don't think you release this statement. What's the point of releasing the statement if you're not going to commit to him for next year? You could just not release the statement.
I got to imagine this is, hey, DJ, Billy, the guy that you really like is going to be here. You know, hey, Eugene Wilson, the guy you like, he's going to be here, right? You know, transfers. You want to come in, be part of a team that improves some this year? Coach is going to be here. There's all kinds of like portal tampering going on right now across the entire sport. Florida is not unique in this, either doing or receiving. And I think letting your players on your current roster, taking them out of like the head coach limbo is probably a smart move in terms of retaining them. Like not passing judgment on whether keeping Napier is the right move or not. But if you are going to keep him, I think announcing it now is the right move.
Maybe Scott Strickland was watching Day Trader Danny and was like, that's a genius move to make to bring him back. Or he has a pretty good pulse of the locker room. And I think all you guys make great points. I totally agree with Bud. I agree with Tom. Like, I think this is one where you try to keep a unified front before you're about to get really bloody, because it looks like they're going into battle and it could get, it could get ugly. So you want to try to at least prepare everyone for that so that the speculation doesn't, spin out of control. And then you start losing recruits, you start losing players, and, everybody starts to wonder. Although with all that being said, fully recognizing if there's a collapse and they lose out, and most importantly, lose out in Tallahassee against Florida State, the year that Florida State is having, then I would say this letterhead with the orange and blue and the official title from Scott Strickland means nothing. So I still think he has to kind of hold everybody together, show good effort. If they get one of those wins at home, it's a plus. You beat Florida State, you end the season on an up note, and you start building for your future there. I mean, everything that I've heard has been the players love Billy Napier, and especially the players that matter. And that to me is more important than wins and losses. It really is. And I know at some time you have to get results, and I think you just have to trust that they'll come with a core nucleus of players that you're hoping come back.
And for the context here, they are 4-4 overall, 2-3 in SEC play, but the upcoming schedule is this week at Texas, then LSU at home, Ole Miss at home, and then, as you mentioned, Danny, the season finale at Florida State. I mean, if you pull off an upset of an extremely unique and maybe unlikely upset against one of those three teams, then yeah, like you could put yourself in a position to make a bowl. But also this could be a 5-7 season. That's where the timing of it, to me, stands out for both where this team is right now and what the schedule ahead, and to Bud's point, trying to signal to other schools to back off and to signal to your locker room that if you like playing for Billy Napier, and a lot of reports indicate that this group does, then let's make sure to start thinking about 2025 in a positive way.
Something tells me schools won't back off.
True. What that you think is like then what is the pitch? Oh, he's a lame duck. He was almost fired last year. Like you don't want to be a part of a lame duck season.
I just think that it's happening everywhere, no matter the situation with the coach. Like if you're interested in somebody and you've got the money, you're going to make an offer to somebody. Like there was the report earlier today that Dylan Edwards is going to be getting a nice little hefty raise from South Carolina. And I don't think Shane Beamer's job is on the line. I just think other teams are like, hey, do you want money?
I think so too.
Okay. Anything else here before then we can get back to the locks? I know the tailgate's jumping.
Yeah, they're antsy. Like, let's go.
All right. Well, who's got
we don't care. Yeah.
Who's got a lock on the game?
Lay it with Texas.
Okay.
No,
Billy spent all week working on his contract extension.
You could probably wait to see if somebody like wants to come in and bet Florida late in the week, and then get a better number than this. Obviously, we do the show at a static time on Thursday, so we kind of got a fire right now. I'm cool with laying the 21.5. There's some help. FanDuel has -05 juice, so that's fine on that. When I look at on a down-to-down basis, even when Lagway was in, Georgia was dominating that game. So it felt very fluky that Florida was doing what they were doing. And I think that's a hard game to get off the mat from and go play in Austin. So Isaiah Bond's back. Sark said he had to practice. I think he's probably the second best receiver in the SEC. So give me Texas. I'll lay him.
All right. Anybody else got a Florida, Texas? I guess we got it. You do? All right. Then we got to go to the club.
Yeah, the music.
Club KENZ, Mackenzie Brooks in the house. What's up?
What's going on, Chip? Hello, gentlemen. I actually wasn't planning on giving a play for this game, but I do like Texas team total over 34.5. I think this is a good spot for them. A lot of the same reasons Bud was saying, but yeah, tough to get up after that game. So I like that team total. And I got a few other plays here. I have a crazy Sicko Mode play. So get that queued up. This is disgusting, but it's actually the name of Danny, so that's pretty awesome. We're going Florida State team total over 7.5 at even money.
Oh!
It's time for Sicko Mode. Let's go.
That's certifiably sick. Yeah.
Guys, I mean, we are looking.
They could be like UMass.
Chip just have clothes on the floor behind him?
We are looking for 3 field goals. We are looking for a touchdown and a field goal in the fourth quarter. This is a fourth quarter sweat. This is not something we're going to cash early. If we do, great, but that is not what we're anticipating here. 8 points against Notre Dame in the fourth quarter. I think we could get there. I think we get some garbage time, okay? Notre Dame might be moving on from that game in the fourth quarter. 8 points
It's not
in
much
a
to ask.
football game.
I mean, Northern Illinois got 16, so
I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Let's
Crazier
go.
things have happened.
Ugh.
So we like that. A little less sick play. I like Penn State to cover the 13.5 against Washington. Get right spot for Penn State. I think Washington's getting a little too much credit for beating USC. I was thinking about points here, but Penn State truly will only beat teams just enough to look good enough to keep their, their playoff style points alive. So I think just the spread will do it for them. Need to show a little bit of style points this week after last weekend. So I like that play. I feel like I had another one that I liked. Oh, I have a dog.
There you go.
I do have a dog. I like Iowa State against Kansas. Give me the money line, actually. We can't have another stinker. You can't have 2 stinkers in a row. That's like hard to do.
Oh,
Favorite?
minus
Iowa
2.5.
State's favored.
Oh, right. No, yeah, you're the plus. You're right. Kansas. I think they're field goal favorites.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
it's-
So
you
no
like-
money lines here. All right, let me think of a different dog. Is Texas Tech a dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's time. It's time. Here's the thing about Texas Tech, guys. They're trying. I didn't know if they would be at this point in the season, but they are. And last weekend proved that. I think this could be a Texas Tech ruin college or Colorado's football playoff hopes game. And we're going to talk about it all week, Colorado's road to the Big 12 Conference Championship. And then just suddenly it's all going to come crashing down when Texas Tech comes to town.
I think
That one was on the fly, guys. I hope that hit.
I love it. It sucked right into the cover
No,
3
she does not.
vortex.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I read through that bull junkie wrote that. I read through that. I sifted through all that.
She does not believe because he does not believe.
Rumor has it there is a 30% chance that Coach Prime potentially comes on the CBS Sports HQ college football pregame show.
According to who?
According to our producer, Noah, there have been conversations.
Yeah, your girl went 3-0 on the CBS HQ prime
All right,
time.
beat it. Now you're taking
pregame.
up too much time.
Wait, hold on.
Now the gambling cave is called KENZ's Kitchen.
Oh, there we go. I
Sexist.
was really. Hey, Danny. I didn't have return. I only could hear it. Is Cannell's Corner spelled with 2 Ks?
No, it was
Okay,
not.
thank
Thank
you.
goodness.
Okay. My heart started
Supposed to
beating.
be if it was.
Okay.
All right, I gotta go put my NFL hat on.
Okay,
right.
you got to go out there.
Nice.
All right, thank you, kids.
Bye, kids.
All right, there we go. See, getting in and like firing off a bunch of plays was the way because she went into last week 1 and
Tiptoeing.
well, yeah, she went into last week 1-7, just taking like a bunch of L's in a row, and she went 3-3. And while 4-10 versus 1-7 is still like the same results in relation to 500, it looks so much better to have a little green on the board. You know, like 4-10 looks better than 2-7. Like if you just dropped one and then had a winner, spray is the way. You know?
Every time.
Proud of Mackenzie. She's growing up here. Okay, let's keep it rolling with some of the bigger games on Saturday. Anything else for Florida, Texas?
I like Bud's play. I'm not going to hop on it, though.
Georgia at Ole Miss. We mentioned the injury report for the Rebels already. Still, Georgia's been sitting tight at 2.5 for most of the week, over under around 54.5. Who's got a lock?
I've got 2.
Got 1.
Got a
Go
little DK 2-for-1 special here.
Let's go.
If you listen to our big game breakdown on Wednesday, you probably won't be surprised to learn that I'm taking the under 54.5 in this game because I know Ole Miss was able to get a nice bowel movement last week against Arkansas to clear that stuff out, but I still don't think they can do it against Georgia. I don't think it's a very good matchup. Trey Harris's situation is still speculative. I think this will be a lower scoring kind of ugly affair. And I also am taking on Georgia minus 2.5 because until Lane Kiffin proves to me he can win one of these games, I am not going to bet on Lane Kiffin to win one of these games. It's just that simple.
Agreement on UGA for many of the same reasons. And let's get some drill going.
Ooh, that was loud.
Emotional hedge time from the dentist. Here is your treatment plan. The Rebs had an offensive explosion last week that I did not see coming. They have been playing much better on the O-line since the bye week. But can they keep it up against a defense like UGA? I hope so, but I'm a little pessimistic because they really struggle to run, and RB1 Parrish is out for this game. Trey Harris may play, but I fear he's not 100%. I like Ole Miss in the first quarter -1.5 because Ole Miss tends to score on the first drives, and UGA tend to start slow. But my largest bet of the week will be UGA -2.5 as I protect myself from a potential excruciatingly painful loss. I will gladly pay to lose this one. Cheers, tooth emoji, lock emoji, anchor down emoji combo. There is no wave this week. He also, his injury intel, because like I said, Ole Miss listed like everybody is like questionable, doubtful. It said Watkins is fine. Parrish and Harris. Harris supposedly will play, maybe more of a decoy, not 100%.
Lane's definitely
Jackson. We do have to.
It is kind of funny how he's doing this. Like that's a whole lot of guys on the injury report. But I think it's
Lane. This is
genius.
It's like
genius.
It is genius. Like
they go down. Like, look, we told you they were already hurt.
Right,
cut it out.
But he does with both angles because he's utilized the faking injuries to advantage, and now he's using the injury reports to that advantage, but also to kind of give a big middle finger. Well, because I'm sure he looks at other injury reports and is like, hey, they're not being 100% truthful. So let me just throw 27 guys on there and we'll let them guess and see, because there's nothing to hold anybody accountable on it. So he's kind of just, this is one way to give another middle finger to the rules that he doesn't like.
I agree. I'm on the first half under 27.5. I mean, the limit, it is unseasonably warm, but this is just like a comfy hoodie that we're breaking out for the fall. A Georgia first half under, combined with the general read that we seem to all have on this game, that the defensive lines are both going to be playing pretty well, that it might be difficult for either offense to get anything going consistently. So yeah, I'm going to go first half under 27.5 on that one.
I loved Ole Miss beginning of the week. Then, like Tom said, until we see Lane do it. But I am in agreement with Tom on one of his plays. I'll take the under in the game. Let the children sing on that one. Have you guys, I'm sure Bud's been all over this. Have you seen the weather for Oxford, Mississippi?
Rainy.
Supposed to be a little rainy. Quarterbacks typically don't like to throw the football in the rain. It impacts your accuracy. That concerns me for Jackson Dart after he's been throwing it all over the place. Their run game. Like, you're going to tell me the run game's going to get going against Georgia's defense? I don't trust that. I think the game could be ugly because of it. I like the under. I think both defenses will show up.
All right. Also, in that 3:30 p.m. Eastern time window, we got the big time Big Ten on CBS game of the week. Features the Michigan Wolverines going to play the undefeated Indiana Hoosiers. 2 touchdown favorites are those Hoosiers. Total around 49.5. Who's got a lock? Me.
Okay.
Yeah, Indiana in the fourth quarter -2.5. It's available at FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can make every moment more. They have been whether it's yardage differential, whether it's point differential, they outplay every single opponent in the fourth quarter. It is that relentlessness. They read to Kurt Signetti the decrease in total yardage quarter to quarter, and Kurt just got giddy. He sort of got a little smile. You don't always see him smile, but you could see that he was really moved. He's got a weathered football heart, but he was really excited to hear it read out to him the way that his defense in particular got better and better as the game goes on. The offensive line gets better and better as the game goes on. That's how you salt games away. That's how you score touchdowns that help you win when you are a favorite. Indiana in the fourth quarter. They've caught on a little, because this was 1.5 almost all season long, and now they've bumped it up to 2.5. But yeah, I'm still gonna stay on that train.
Smoking through the filter.
I can get Indiana -13.5, right? Or is it not available? I thought I wrote it down.
You can get No, sir. It's
No,
14 to
it's-
14
yeah.
and a half. Oh, wait, no, yes, FanDuel. Of course.
There you go.
No, but it's
FanDuel's 13 and a
minus
half.
one. It's minus 122 on FanDuel.
Oh, yeah, that's over 20.
Yeah, 14 is the best I could do by rules for the show.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, I'm gonna use some discipline, even though my new best friend Kirk Signetti was awesome. Did you guys know I taped an interview with him yesterday afternoon?
No.
He was awesome. And he stayed on for like 5 minutes and was talking about Pittsburgh because it's my parents are from. He started his career at Pitt. The nicest guy. He's awesome. But I have to use some discipline. I was going to take it at lay him 13. I might do that actually in my personal account. But our girl, Mackenzie, texted me frantically after she left. She said, "Oh no, I forgot one of my favorite plays." She likes the over in this game, Indiana, Michigan over this one, which is
I can get her 49 and a half.
49 and a half.
I will say Michigan with Colson Loveland being healthy, with them sort of settling in, this is one point in the year where I would have as much confidence as possible. Like it's still not overly confident.
Yeah, and they haven't quit.
Right. Yeah. They're still trying stuff out. They're still finding ways to move the football, not always super effectively. Sometimes it's a little bit of a putt-putt offense, but if you can hit it through the clown's mouth, you can win the hole. So good luck out there with the clown's mouth. All right.
I asked Mackenzie if she had an emoji reply to the dentist, and she said, "I'm still trying to figure out who the dentist is. So welcome to the club."
Aren't we all?
Exactly.
I think I do think we need to keep those segments separate. We need to keep them apart from each other. All right. Also on Saturday, it will be the sun setting over Tigers Stadium in Baton Rouge. It is Alabama. It is LSU. The Tigers, home dogs at night in a big SEC game yet again. Alabama looking to try to keep its college football playoff hopes alive. If they can get this one, things really open up to try to be able to win out and finish 10-2. And it's just Alabama LSU. Even without Nick Saban there, the passion that has been built up in that rivalry over the last 16, 17 years drives home what's just usually an awesome game. Who's got a lock?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
LSU +3. Talked about it in the big game breakdown. I think that Alabama's defense has a kind of tough matchup the way they play against Garrett Nussmeier. It's LSU at home. It's LSU at night. And I know that Alabama has won 3 or 4 straight at Baton Rouge, but Nick Saban was the coach in those games. And this is not that Alabama anymore, even if they are still one of the best teams in the country. Give me LSU +3.
Fight.
Oh.
Fight.
Jalen Milroe, get on your horse, buddy. Let's go. Lay in 2.5.
Yeah, I get you.
I do think that the mobile quarterback stuff here. Look, if he's not healthy, then I lose. But I think he's healthier than he's been. Obviously, with the bye week, we talked about how they can just rest the heck out of him coming up because they're not really much of a threat to lose to Oklahoma or to Auburn in the coming weeks. I mean, it's that 20 carry game for him if you need it. So they might need it, and I think they'll get it.
I'm going to need a little bit of help here from the from the committee to figure out what's the fair price and number here. The bet I'm looking to make is Alabama in the first quarter.
Okay.
The issue is we've got a +1.5 at Crazy Juice that you can't take. You've got a -0.5 point some places. There is also, I was willing to suggest that maybe it's a money line play.
It's just pick. Let's just call it pick.
Yeah, so I was like, can we just do that? Just call it an Alabama first quarter pick?
I mean, so the best we can do on either side is
I can get you Alabama -0.5 point at +114. That's perfectly fine if you want it.
Well,
take a pick if that's an option.
If you just, picks. So we basically have -20 to both sides on average. Let's just call it pick.
All right,
that's roughly it.
Because I think that I got a pick -118 on another program earlier this week. That's within the realm. Okay,
yeah.
so
I think that's fair.
Okay, obviously the play is Kalen DeBoer this season with Jalen Milroe as his quarterback has had a couple of instances in some of the biggest games where he has come out and they've had things cooking early. The most obvious is Georgia. I don't think it's going to straight up be the same result as Georgia, but even, in that Wisconsin game, TVD goes down, you got a couple turnovers, but they were there with a couple of big plays to beat that Wisconsin defense. I think that if you even go to the halftime result, against Tennessee, Alabama's offense wasn't cooking, but Alabama had a lead at halftime of that game and really just choked it away in the second half with the inability to get the first downs and the scores that they needed to win. So I think that with the week off to get prepared against LSU's defense, with what we saw Marcel Reed do to LSU's defense, and with Alabama understanding how important this game is and a strong start in a hostile environment, I like Alabama to come out and have a good first 15 or so, first 15 minutes and plays Alabama in the first quarter.
I have a play that the children are going to sing on. It's just a matter of who they're singing with.
Eating the cats. Eat the cat.
They're eating the dogs and the cats because the LSU Tigers are playing at home in night. 6-2 straight up in their last 8 games as a home dog, 6-1-1 against the spread in those last 8 games. Bama in their last 4 games versus ranked opponents are 0-4 against the spread. I also have a play on the over. I'm going to take the over in this game because I do think Jalen Milroe will have some success. I do think he goes off with his legs and has one of his better games. But I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to pick apart that Alabama secondary. It's been a weakness of theirs. One of the reasons he struggled against A&M is he was under pressure all night long on the road with that crowd noise. His offensive line struggled at home versus a defensive line I don't think is as good as A&M's. I think he's able to pick them apart. So I see a lot of points, and I see LSU covering and potentially winning the game.
Seems like a Ryan Williams
this week.
What?
A lot of infighting this week.
Yeah. And like Bama's pass rush ain't been good. So I would rather bet over than under.
Seems like a Ryan Williams does something bananas game.
Yeah, at least one. At least
catch. Yeah, it's that there's going to be the opportunities. There's no reason to hold anything back. Your best players need to be your best players. That kind of night in Baton Rouge. All right, anything else there for LSU?
I think we've got everything covered in this game. Mr. First Quarter Pick'em.
Look, I think it's going to be sharp early. I think things can get a little crazy late. I'd like to have that ticket cashed. Though let's see, where was this? Somebody in the tailgate, Tom in the tailgate says, my next progression is betting the first possession. And then Garrett adds first play run pass. Hey, if it's got fair juice, live on the Cover 3 Locks pod.
Pretty soon we're going to be taking coin toss bets on here.
See, I have learned that the factory where the coin is developed for this game is in Naples, Florida. And since they switched to this factory in 2013, all right. Coming up on the other side, opening up the entire Locks board to all of Saturday's action, plus Moneyline Sprinkles. Next.
CBS Sports HQ, giving you college football coverage unlike anyone else.
We're talking Big Ten.
Pre- and post-game coverage.
Are you encouraged with the way that this team responded?
Along with breaking news.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
Highlights and expert analysis.
That streak could be in jeopardy here.
Sure. What was your main takeaway from this game? How impressive was his domination?
That really changed the football game.
Let's go ahead and have some more fun.
Another wild ending.
The chaos continues. Turn to CBS Sports HQ.
Back here on the Cover 3 podcast, let's take a review of what we've got on the board so far. Bud has App Coastal. Remember, that's Thursday night. Yeah, that's Thursday night game, under 62.5. Then Iowa UCLA under 45.5, Wake Forest plus 7.5, Georgia minus 2.5, Alabama minus 2.5, and then Texas minus 21.5. I've got the Georgia-Ole Miss first half under 27.5, the Iowa UCLA under 45.5, Indiana in the fourth quarter -2.5. Alabama in the first quarter. Pick 'em or money line, however you want to play it. Iowa.
No. Different. Very different.
Different.
If money line, they have to actually win the quarter. If you take a pick and the quarter's tied, it's a push.
It's push. Deal. Pick 'em. Danny has Iowa UCLA under 45.5, Georgia-Ole Miss under 54.5, Alabama-LSU over 57.5, and LSU +3. Tom's got New Mexico, San Diego State under 66.5, Iowa UCLA over 44.5, Georgia-Ole Miss under 54.5, Georgia -2.5, LSU +3. Tom Fernelli, you had the best week last week. You've got the honors on the tee box. So where would you like to go?
Hold on, I want to go back a second. Was your pick 'em like the spread was +0.0, or are you taking like the money line pick 'em?
We just took it as 0. So
okay, I just want to make sure. All right,
yeah, just PK,
because I confused myself with what I said for a second there. Okay,
I was like, I know Tom knows what he said. Like I know Tom knows what he means. I'm not really sure. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that's a good omen for my first pick of the locks. Now that I've got the board here, I'm taking Cincinnati -4.5 at home against West Virginia. I think that the vibes are horrendously bad with West Virginia right now. They've got all the Fire Neil Brown stuff going on, and I think defensively this is not a great matchup for them because West Virginia's problem defensively has been stopping the pass, and Cincinnati's been pretty good throwing the football with Brendan Sorsby, and I just feel like on the road at Nippert, this is the Bearcats. So give me Cincy.
Let the children sing.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
On the sheet. Okay. For every reason Tom just gave.
Whatever, let it spray. I've got the under 56.5 in this game, and it is looking at the kind of game that Cincinnati might want to play. And what I mean by that is to make this so like a total like shootout type game hasn't always fared well for Cincinnati. I mean, that would be like the Pitt game wasn't a shootout, but obviously you let them storm all the way back into that game. The Texas Tech game was a little bit of a shootout. Colorado, things got a little bit sideways. It seems like a game where, controlling like good, strong, productive drives that can just kind of just put like West Virginia in a chokehold and just put them over there in the corner and keep them from being able to get any kind of rhythm, any kind of confidence. Seems like a path to success. That would be kind of what they did to UCF. That would be kind of what they did to Arizona State as well. So I've got under 56.5. I like your Cincinnati side as well, but that was just something that I was looking at early in the week where I was trying to think about the motivations for the home team in kind of a big game, considering the rest of the schedule, which includes at Iowa State, at Kansas State, and then TCU. Let's go ahead and get that 6th win for Scott Satterfield's crew here against West Virginia, and let the home fans enjoy the chili.
The only thing I'm a little bit worried about here, to that point, Chip, is I was reading some stuff, and I think Sorsby had been dinged in recent weeks. So if he comes out and he's more efficient, then maybe we get something different here.
With like him being explosive?
Yeah.
Or West Virginia's pass defense just being
and part of that is injuries as well. Like Burks is out, a bunch of those guys are out. So at some point you're just,
All right, Danny, what you want to do?
I'm going to go late night, 10:15. I think the game kicks off to a team that no one has mentioned in the G5 race for a potential spot in the playoff. I guess it's not even G5. It's just at large. Washington State has one lone blemish on the road at Boise State, and yet they hold wins over Texas Tech. They have wins over Washington and everyone else on their schedule. They are a 20.5 point favorite. I will lay those points against a bad Utah State team to get style points and take this thing home. Washington Lamb.
I also have a play in this game.
Ooh.
It is the under 70.5. Because it kind of
big number.
Kind of goes in line with what you're saying. Like if Washington State does cover this, it's because Utah State's not going to score a whole lot of points, which will then make it more difficult to go over the 70.5. But it's just, I think the number is a little too high.
look, if you're not spending your Saturday night on the CW, closing out Week 11 Saturday,
What are you even living for?
What are you living for? All right. How about I'm gonna circle back to that Colorado Texas Tech game. I'm gonna go Colorado team total over. I think I can get this at 33.5. Texas Tech's pass defense has been leaky. You know, when you're talking about the different ways that Texas Tech wins this game, as I know that KENZ was on here earlier, taking the Red Raiders as her dog getting the bone. But I've got Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter continuing to do bananas stuff, continuing to light up defenses, and I think Texas Tech is the kind of defense that will allow them to do that. So instead of trying to sweat late game decision making, instead of trying to sweat Lubbock and the tortillas, I'm just going to say I think that the Buffs are not going to be held in check here. Lots of ways to win. Colorado team total over 33.5.
I actually am on the same side as our girl KENZ. Give me the Red Raiders playing at home.
Oof.
This is that game when, you know, Colorado's been able to play. The haters are out there. Everybody hates us. Now it's the complete opposite. How do they handle the success? I also think Baron Morton is really good. I think Taj Brooks, they could get that ground game going, play keep away from Shedeur, which doesn't work great for your over, but they still are a big play offense. I think it could be higher scoring, but I like Texas Tech as the home dog.
Did you see Shedeur Sanders when they were breaking the huddle in the practice facility this week?
Class. Why are you guys enrolling for classes?
Hey, y'all remember registration in the morning. For what? Voting? No, class. Oh, class.
The combine?
I'm going to the league. I had a class with an NFL player. It was a fall semester class. And he came.
And it was a fake class.
He showed up for it. It was a women's studies class. We were respecting. Okay, it was a class where I learned that if the professor wrote the book, then just read the epilogue that she doesn't teach and include it in your final essay. And she just loves everything. Wow, you really got it. But yeah, he walked in. He got his blue book to fill out the essays on women's studies, waited about 10 minutes, got up, turned it in. Was like, later, see y'all, going to the league.
I studied women in college too, and I didn't learn a damn thing.
All right, let's see. Bud, what do you want to do?
Let's go to Columbia. I just think they found something with Jackson Dart.
Arnold.
Why did I say Dart? Oh, because Dart was the Microsoft segment. Excuse me. With Jackson Arnold, I do think he looks a little bit better. Drew Pine has looked kind of unplayably bad for Missouri. I'm going to assume that it's Drew Pine this week and not Brady Cook. I'm going to lay it with Oklahoma. A couple 2.5s out there. That's fine by me. 3 is also fine. I just think they're like the best unit in this game now is Oklahoma's defense, and I'm not really sure that Missouri's offense with Pine is any better than this banged up OU offense. And OU kind of showed me something. Like they did have good fight when they played Ole Miss. I don't think they've quit on Venables.
Lock agreement. It's one of those read between the lines situations where Mizzou started as a 3-point favorite when this thing was first posted, and now it's moved to Oklahoma's -3 at some places. The injury report comes out yesterday. Brady Cook's questionable. Theo Weiss is still questionable. Noel's still very much not likely to play. Mizzou's really, really banged up, and they have not been good since they've suffered these injuries, like tremendously bad. So yeah, Sooners.
I mean, at the risk of being downright mean, Oklahoma is kind of America's team right now because we got to get them out the paint, right?
Mizzou?
Yeah. Come on, Oklahoma.
I'll take the under 41.5. I think it's going to be. I think Oklahoma's defense is still playing pretty hard. Mention who the heck's playing for Missouri offensively. They were shut out last game out. I like the under, but I lean where you guys are too.
Yep. Okay. Starting to fill this thing out nice and even. Danny, where do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. you guys know what UCF is this year? They're
It's a
giant
football team.
slayers.
Oh,
They're giant slayers. And you can't stop the Rizek. That's what you can't stop. Dylan Rizek at the helm at quarterback for UCF. Cam Scatterbo, also questionable for this game. Now, that is one where probably, if you want to make a game time decision, wait out on this one to play it a little bit safer. We don't have that luxury. But I think the point spread tells you a little something about it too. Give me UCF getting 3 points on the road, and I don't hate it potentially for them to pull off the outright win.
I mean, Rizek has been
the Rizek, the Jizik.
RJ Harvey, I think, and he's
oh, Dirty Harvey. Yeah, it's like if the Gus Malzahn UCF experience could pick the right quarterback at the beginning of the season, it'd be Big 12 title contenders.
Yeah,
it's like the experience is you have to roll through a couple and then finally land at your backup or third stringer who comes in and just gives you the spark that you need. I'm going back. I can't help it. I can't quit it. It's a problem I need to worry about. But Oregon in the first half, we got it minus 13.5 against Maryland. They
14.5.
14.5?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You got bet. Jesus, does Chip want it?
How bad does Chip want it?
You want it.
Can I help you?
I want it.
Lock agreement.
Yeah, yes.
Why do you think I knew so quick?
Exactly.
Yeah. Do we need to expound on that one?
No, they just beat the hell out of you and then call it a day.
You know, it's to the point that like their local beat guys are getting under Dan's skin, asking him about third quarters. Like that's how nitpicky they've gotten with the number one team in the country. Dan, is this becoming a trend? The inability to not just kick the shit out of everybody in the third quarter like you do in the first two.
Jenny called it the Achilles. She said you said it was your third quarters were your Achilles heel. He goes, no, I didn't. Third quarters are an opportunity. I was like, I don't know, Dan. I don't think she's saying that unless you did say it.
Yeah, it's again, I remain incredibly impressed with the way that team prepares and executes and just comes out there and lays the wood. Because even when you lose your star receiver, even when you've got a special teams flub that gives the other team a short territory, you still are just so relentless. We are taking a big ass lead to the locker room. It's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So, great. Love that. Bud.
Chip, music, please.
Okay. And it's right.
It's time for Sicko Mode. Let's go. I'm a little bit lower on some of the teams in the bottom of the Sun Belt. If things go wrong, they could be like UMass UConn. That's kind of like Sicko Mode of a Sicko Mode.
Please get your air sickness bags ready. This is very gross. It is not a G5 game, though. It is a P5 game or P4 game. We're going to Fort Worth.
Oh, nope. I'm out.
Oh. And we'll hold the nose.
We're going to take the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Wow.
11.5. I mean, there has to be a price at which you're willing to bet every game.
And that is stinky, absolute sicko mode. And I'm doing it. Give me Oklahoma State plus 11.5 at TCU. Terrible game. Will I watch this game?
No.
Probably not. At least not live. But do I think TCU can get stops? Not really.
But Hoover.
Lock agreement.
No, yuck.
Oh.
I've actually got 2 plays on this. I'm on Oklahoma State plus 11.5. TCU is pretty banged up, and also I feel like Mike Gundy, just a motivational apology this week, calling the fans broke apologizing on Tuesday night during the election when nobody's paying attention. I just feel like this is one of those unifying moments for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And my other play is the under 66.5.
There is an infection that has broken out on the Cover 3 podcast.
My goodness. I was on the other side. I had it written on my card to lay 10.5 with TCU, but I don't know.
Why? You too? I'm in a zombie
No,
mood
I'm not
right now.
this. I had written it down, but I'm staying away. I'll let you guys chase glory. Man.
Yeah.
I might have more on this game later.
I've done it 1,000 times, Moneyline Sprinkle.
Just saying, I might have more on this game later.
All right. Notre Dame, Florida State time.
Oh, geez.
We're working out we're checking out the new guys. We're cycling a lot of bodies in and out, throwing some players out there to see what they can do. And here comes Notre Dame's offense, just trying to run through somebody's face. It's a tough scene. Notre Dame team total over 34.5.
I could see that getting there. Especially like with the short field you're likely to get.
It does not behoove Notre Dame to do any kind of playing with your food right now.
No.
And that's not even like a style points necessarily. That's not even a committee thing. It's just to get this Notre Dame team prepared for what they want to accomplish this season. They have got to be running hot as the season comes to a close. They are going to be playing in the first round of the college football playoff. That is if they get there. Like, they're not playing for a bye. They're not going to have any kind of long layoff. The season is going to end at the end of November. And then on December 20th, if they are in it, or the 21st, then Notre Dame needs to be ready to go against one of the best teams in the country in a big time spot for that football program. So yeah, I've got Irish team total over. I think the Riley Leonard and that offense continue to cook.
I took Notre Dame minus 23.5 when it opened on Sunday, but I don't want anything to do with that game anymore. It's moved too much. Although I wouldn't mind some alt lines.
Some Notre Dame alt lines, like 30. What would it be?
Also, I might just take a Florida State money line. Throw $5 on there because that would be freaking hilarious. That would be.
Did you guys know that it's going to be a deep drive to left field by Thomas Castellanos in Boston?
Yes.
How can you not back them at home with Tom Brenneman on the call? And man, he's got to work it in somehow, doesn't he? Like, he's already lost a job from one, but you got to slip it in there. Boston College off of a bye. Syracuse has been up. They've been down. I think this is a pesky BC team. I think Bill O'Brien's got him playing pretty hard. I think he'll have a game plan. Again, extra time to watch the film. Give me BC laying 1.5.
The thing that would make me nervous here is the games that BC has blown in like the last month. But the bye week, you hope you flush that, you've corrected it, because I do think it's I think they're I think they're good enough to win this game 100%. And Syracuse, as you mentioned, highly volatile. All right. Let me see how many I got here. How many does everybody else have left?
I've still got 5 left.
All right, Tom, you got it.
Should we go rapid fire, seeing as how we're already over an hour into the show? All right, cool. We're going to go to one of the bigger games of the weekend. Miami, Georgia Tech. Give me the under 64. I don't think this will be like last week. I think if Haynes King does play, I still like it. If Haynes King doesn't play, I really like it because I don't see the Canes trying to run this one up late in the game. It's a bunch of totals here. So yeah. BYU, Utah, Holy War, over 40.5. Ooh. You can't go into a holy war without ammunition, folks. There's going to be bombs going off. Army, North Texas, under 63.5. If Daly isn't back, love it. If he is back, still like it. Fresno, Air Force, over 40.5. And finally, Arkansas State plus 16.5. Just think that's a few too many points for the Cajuns to cover here.
Yeah, let's see. What did it say? Louisiana has been the best team in the Sun Belt, but 16.5 is a huge number. That was from my Monday scan where I just ripped through one line of reaction to every single game. I would agree with you there. To cycle back to Army North Texas, I'll take Army -5.5.
Fight.
Yeah, all right.
Ooh, okay.
Give me North Texas.
Fight.
I don't know. I'll be much more nervous if Bryson Daly plays. I don't know. There's something about it. That injury came out of nowhere. Wasn't even talked about. All eyes are on him. If he is coming back and he is injured, how does it impact his play? But that was a different team without him. So I'll back North Texas. I think I can get 6, right? Or no?
I think they got bet during the show.
All right. I also have a couple other ugly games. Give me UAB as a home dog against UConn. Jalen Kitna coming off a 6-touchdown performance. Staying out of trouble, hopefully.
Yeah, I was with somebody on a somebody on a sports line program who revved up his pick by going, "In Jalen Kitna, I trust." And I after the show, I was like, "Buddy, I would not be saying that."
No, not saying that. But I will back UAB. And then Middle Tennessee is another home dog getting 11.5 versus Liberty. I think Liberty's still getting that bump off of last year. This is a different team that is not very good. I don't trust them to go on the road and win by that many points.
Liberty losing outright would be a unbelievable spiral for the way. Yeah, that would be quite remarkable. Vandy +3.5.
Well, South Carolina got bet during the show, so you can get 4.5.
I'll take 4.5 too. I don't know how many times people need to learn their lesson about the dog, Diego Pavia. I mean, you know what you need, right? You know what you need against that South Carolina defensive front. You need the ability to be crafty. You need the ability to scoot. Diego Pavia does that. Y'all saw Barton's tweet last week where he just listed out all the underdogs that they've been for the check marks. I just no way I would jump off that train right now. So especially when you're getting South Carolina in the wake of the massive, field storming win. Let's go.
Give me the under in that game. I think it could be a slower starting game. South Carolina rebounding there. I also think South Carolina's defense is really good and can contain your boy Pavia early, hopefully not late. I like your side too. But I like the under 46.
Give me sorry. Give me Vandy team total under 21 or 20.5.
Could be. I mean, there was 17-7 against Auburn.
Yeah, they look banged on offense. So I could see Vandy winning this game. I could definitely see Vandy covering this game. And South Carolina's offense is not consistent. So we'll see how that goes. But one thing that is consistent pretty much every week is that South Carolina D-line shows up and rips.
Okay. I think I'll do that one at Moneyline Sprinkles. What's our Tennessee first quarter market looking like? 6.5.
Well, Chip, let's see. It is.
I
can get you 6.5 for -120. That fits.
Yeah.
At FanDuel where you can make every moment more.
Yeah, let's do Tennessee first quarter -6.5. What happened to the Tennessee Volunteers that I loved? You used to be able to count on this team coming out and laying the hammer early. And not only is it not happening, now they're trailing to Kentucky. Ugh. Come on. This is a game where Tennessee needs to come out and get its work done early. Obviously, you've got Georgia on deck next week. So, Nico playing better. Now let's just come out here and throw some haymakers. Vols first quarter minus a touchdown, -6.5. All right. I think I'm good till Moneyline Sprinkles. Oh, wait, one more on that game. Mississippi State first half team total under 7.5.
First half team total under 17.5.
I think it's under 7.5, right?
Oh, sorry, 7.5. Okay, I just wanted to
Actually,
make
you
sure.
know what? Take that off the board. Let's leave that out of the side. My Tennessee first quarter is fine.
I already typed it.
No. I immediately.
No, I don't know. I'd hit enter. I don't know if I can do it. I'm gonna have to. No, it's fine.
I got one more.
Okay.
Give me the Jayhawks. I don't know what side she was going to go with. She said, give me the dog, but it's at Arrowhead. So I don't know if it's a true home dog, but Iowa State, devastating first loss of the season. And Kansas has been fighting hard every single game. I think they're way better than their record says they are. I'll take those 3 points.
Yeah, I was gonna save it for Sprinkles, but there are results where this is also like a 1, 2, 3 point game. So I'll add it as a lock too. Rock chalk. 2 years ago, Danny already heard this. 2 years ago, it was Lance Leipold against Matt Campbell. Lance Leipold was a 3-point dog, won outright. Last year, it's Lance Leipold against Matt Campbell. Lance Leipold was a 3-point dog, won outright. Fool me once, fool me twice. Jayhawks can get this thing done. And I understand, Isaac. I understand that being at Arrowhead is going to mean there's way more Iowa State fans than Kansas fans. I'm more concerned about the sidelines than I am about the stands. Lance Leipold, we trust.
Put it on a T-shirt.
What did Lanning keep saying? The gladiators control the stadium, not the spectators. He pulled out Gladiator, and it worked because nobody's seen Gladiator. Like we've aged into that cycle where he like did the "Are you not entertained?" and the whole team was like, "Man, that's awesome." Never heard that before.
These kids today don't know shit. I can dig all these.
All right, I'm good till Sprinkles.
Same.
All right.
I've got 15. No, I'm just kidding.
To review. Bud's got Iowa UCLA under 45.5, App Coastal under 62.5, Wake Forest plus 7.5, Georgia minus 2.5, Alabama minus 2.5, Texas minus 21.5, Oklahoma minus 2.5, Vanderbilt team total under 20.5, and Oklahoma State plus 11.5. I've got Iowa UCLA under 45.5, Georgia-Ole Miss first half under 27.5, Indiana fourth quarter minus 2.5, Alabama first quarter pick, West Virginia, Cincinnati under 56.5, Colorado team total over 33.5, Notre Dame team total over 33.5, Oregon first half minus 14.5, Army minus 5.5, Vanderbilt plus 4.5, Tennessee first quarter minus 6.5, and Kansas plus 3. Danny's on. Iowa, UCLA under 45.5, Washington State minus 20.5, Georgia-Ole Miss under 54.5, Alabama-LSU over 57.5, LSU plus 3, Cincinnati minus 4.5, Texas Tech plus 4.5, Oklahoma, Missouri under 41.5, North Texas plus 5.5, Boston College minus 1.5, UCF plus 3, Kansas plus 3, UAB plus 6.5, Middle Tennessee plus 11.5, and Vanderbilt-South Carolina under 45.5. And Tom's locked on. Iowa, UCLA over 44.5, New Mexico, San Diego State under 66.5, Georgia, Ole Miss under 54.5, Georgia minus 2.5, LSU plus 3, Cincinnati minus 4.5, Oklahoma minus 2.5, Oregon first half minus 14.5, Oklahoma State plus 11.5, Oklahoma State TCU under 66.5, the Utah State Washington State under 70.5, Miami Georgia Tech under 64, BYU Utah over 40.5, Army North Texas under 63.5, Arkansas State plus 16.5, and the Fresno Air Force over 40.5.
Who says this ain't a good weekend?
And this Moneyline Sprinkles segment is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. All right, looking back at last week's Sprinkles, Bud coming through with some haymakers. Louisville plus 345 and Houston plus 420 come home. Chip cashed that Vandy plus 230. Took some L's, though. Arkansas and Duke. Danny came through with Vandy as well. Arkansas and FSU fall just short. And Tom got Washington home, fell short with Illinois and Arizona. So for the season, Tom still in first place, 19 and 22 on Sprinkles, up 10.68 units. Bud has taken over second place, 9 and 18 on the season, plus 4.38 units. I'm down to third, 10 and 19 on the season, up 2.85 units. And Danny at 10 and 27, down 12.58 units. Tom, what are we sprinkling this week?
Some pretty basic ones to start here. I'm going to take Syracuse plus 110. Sorry, Castellanos. Sorry, Tom Brenneman. I'm going to take New Mexico plus 120 on the road at San Diego State. I took the under in that game, locked it up, but it's more San Diego State skepticism. Give me UCF plus 130. It's a Big 12 game with a close spread. Just take the underdog and count your money at the end of the day. I mentioned earlier, I was going to probably take it here, and I am. Oklahoma State plus 360. TCU is really banged up on defense. Ollie Gordon might look like Ollie Gordon again on Saturday, and that could be good for the Cowboys. And finally, I am undaunted, an undaunted opportunist. And I see Indiana going to face Michigan this weekend, and I think they're going to win the game. But how many times in your life are you able to take Michigan on the money line at plus 510 in a football game against the Indiana Hoosiers? That's an opportunity I will not pass up. So give me Michigan plus 510.
Wow.
Couldn't be me.
I thought about it.
Could not be me. All right, Bud. What are you going to be jumping on?
Both of these are kind of gross. One is exceptionally gross. We're betting Kennesaw plus 160 at UTEP. Like, what? If you can make a real argument that UTEP is like way better than Kennesaw, especially if the backup plays, I'd enjoy hearing that. Not really, but I'd be curious. And then North Texas plus 190. I think there's some chance they could just score a ton against Army. When I've watched Army, they have not faced very many good offenses. I keep going back to that game in which I bet Army. I liked it, and had it was a good bet for me. And Temple actually moved the ball on them throwing it. Had a couple called back for penalties. Like, they had guys open. So I just kind of, I'm like, I don't know. I think North Texas can chuck it around on them some.
All right. I will go with Kansas plus 125. I will go with LSU plus 125. Where is this game? I will go with the Utah Utes plus 150. Rice-Eccles Stadium. And I'm a little bit worried about the Pitt Panthers. Not enough to say that, I would want to take 7.5. But after just getting dunked on bad by SMU, Virginia coming in well rested out of an off week. Is Virginia just good enough to be able to maybe pull an upset? Not a lock, but worth a sprinkle. Who's plus 240?
Considered it.
I've got a couple on here. Actually, I have an agreement with all you guys. I'm on New Mexico with Tom over San Diego State. I am on North Texas with Bud. I am on Utah with Chip. So those three money lines. I am also, this feels so un-American, I'm going to take South Florida at home against Navy.
So you're against Army and Navy?
I know. I feel awful about it, but got to do what you got to do. I'm going to take
the American government from the inside. Danny Cannell.
I'm going to take Texas Tech at home dog plus 145, wherever that number is. And then lastly, a game we haven't talked about. And again, a team that was in the top 25. I think they still might be, but they're traveling to one of the most hostile environments in the country. And we just think Clemson historically has been the bounce back team. I don't know if I trust them to bounce back. And again, I am assuming that Drones and Tootin are going, although that may be a false assumption. Even still, I don't know if I like what I'm seeing out of Clemson. Give me Virginia Tech at home plus 196.
Get you 200.
Plus 200.
Go.
All right. And that has been the Moneyline Sprinkles segment brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. It's funny you mentioned that, Danny, because it has often happened here on the Locks Pod that the game doesn't get touched. And it could be, and especially if it's a game with a ranked team or like teams that, I mean, injuries obviously might be one reason why no one's feeling certain on it, but it's that I got a little spooked, by what happened last week. And when you think about what the next step is, there is when 2021 happened, you always thought Clemson was going to get back. And then they just kept losing. And then they lost again. And then they lost a game that you definitely didn't expect them to win. And so I'm a little spooked. I agree. Again, you didn't make it a lock, but maybe made it a sprinkle. So,
yep.
All right. Whew. Any other games we didn't hit? I feel like we
touched them all.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We will be back on Saturday night, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time, to recap all the best and the brightest from a week 11 in college football. Come and join us live at youtube.com/cover3. And you can follow him on Twitter at Tom Finelli. You can follow him at Danny Cannell. You can follow him at Bud Elliott 3. Follow me at Chip_Patterson. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
See y'all.
See ya.